All right, so you're in high school and you've got a test coming up, or maybe even worse, an exam, and you've never really studied before. So how are you going to do this? Well, in this video, we are going to look at how we can best use our brain to help you develop different study techniques that'll help you ace that exam. So let's look at our brain. Our brain developed to help us survive, to find food, while not being eaten. We needed to be able to focus on the most important information and retrieve that information extremely quickly. So let's look at basic properties of memories. First of all, we have 4 timescales for memory. We have our working memory, which is immediate. It's like right now. Then we have short term, medium term, and long term. So our working memory only looks at the very latest information. And if we don't use that information with 30 seconds, it's gone. It fades away. Now, this is actually very, very important. Why does our brain do this? Well, imagine you're driving. You need to be able to figure out everything that's going on around you right now. And you need to be able to analyze that. Not what was going around you 5 minutes ago, right now. Now, if you don't use that information, it's gone. So how many of you have experienced this where you're driving and you have an uneventful drive, which is what I hope for everybody, and then you forget how you got where you are? I've done that so many times. Like, wait a minute, how did I get here? Right? So if you don't use it, you lose it. Now, our brains also have a certain capacity. We can only hold about 7 items at a single time. It's like a bookshelf that only has 7 books. And if you try to add another book, you have to push an earlier book off. So here's another example. You have all these things that you're thinking about, and you walk into one room, and how many of you have forgotten why you were there in the first place? Right? I do that all the time as well. Again, you can only hold a certain amount of information. And on top of that, we can form memories from, say, our senses, things that we do, things that we feel, emotions, spoken languages that we hear, but not from written languages. If you want to remember something that was written, you have to form a connection with it. So again, how many of you have been reading a novel and then suddenly you stop and think, what were the last few pages that I read? You completely forgot them, right? You need to form connections with things that is already in your memory to help you remember written words. For observations, we have things called mirror neurons that can help form memories when we either perform a task, watch somebody else do something, or imagine doing it ourselves. These mirror neurons can help us learn to, say, swing a bat by watching someone else do it. But they can't help us learn to write an essay simply by watching someone else write an essay. So we have a lot of roadblocks to learning. Our brains can only hold a certain amount of information. That information's gone within 30 seconds if we don't use it. We're not well adapted to remember things that are written. And it's hard to mimic activities that don't involve movement. So how are we going to study exactly? So here's the tips I'm going to go over. 1, focus, right? You have to create a study area where you can focus that avoids distraction, okay, so that you can stay on topic. 2, link what you're trying to learn to things you already know. So if you're trying to learn about fish in biology class, maybe you can link that to a camping trip you went on. Something like that. Find a way to link those new informations. This is an important one, grouping. So we've learned that we can only hold about 7 things at a time, but you can group ideas together and remember 7 groups. So it's good to organize information. Or if you've ever done a mind map, those are really good tools as well because they help you to organize information. Because there's a lot of information, especially if you're studying for an exam. So what do I mean by this? This is usually an activity I do with my class when I'm teaching them how to study. I'll ask a couple of students to come up to the front of the class and name as many animals as they can in 1 minute. And what you hear them do is absolutely incredible. They will group animals in their head. So they might name farm animals and they'll go pig, horse, sheep, and then they pause. And then they go to something else, right? Maybe, I don't know, pets. So they might go a cat, dog, bunny, and then they pause. And they go to something else. And everybody has different groups that they've made up in their head. They might go to aquatic animals. They might go shark, alligator, fish, orcas, things like that. Right? So I'm going to do a little example. I'm going to call my daughter down here. She hasn't been listening to what we're talking about. And I'm just going to ask her to name as many animals as she can in 1 minute. So let's hear that. You're going to do this on the fly. I want you to name as many animals as you can in 30 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Giraffe, parrot, lion, tiger, dog, cat, lizard, bunny, bird, flamingo, monkey, fish, octopus, okay, sharks, squid.
10 seconds.
Wait, chimpanzee, anteater.
That's an interesting one.
Is that it? The 10 seconds pass? Is that it?
You forgot, like, certain things that you ride.
Oh, horse. How about that?
Okay.
I think 10 seconds has passed.
I think it too. Thank you.
Why?
All right, she has left. Did everybody hear the grouping? Now, the grouping might not be obvious to everyone. For example, she said bird, lizard, dog, a bunny. But those are pets that we actually have in our home. We have a dragon, right? We have a bird. We have some dogs. She has a bunny. We've got lots of pets. So everyone will form their own groups in their head. Okay, so that's something you can do to help you study. Another thing is repeating information. Do not spend 5-7 hours or all-nighters cramming for a test. Prepare ahead of time. I know this is hard not to procrastinate, but prepare ahead of time. Okay? If you're working and studying for 7 hours, this becomes way more difficult, right? You will have a very hard time trying to stay focused and you won't be efficient with your time. So instead, do short study periods and then repeat often. Repeating things often also helps to move those memories into long-term memories. Okay, so go through examples over and over again. Okay, at different times. Reread things. Repeat, repeat, and repeat. Also, use different types of studying. Read out loud, watch a video, create a model, make a mind map, take study notes, create flashcards. Okay? There's so many different types of studying you can do. Try a little bit of each, see what works best for you. You have to become efficient with your studying. So we do have our limitations for our memory, but if you learn how to use it efficiently, you can be more successful with less effort. Let me know your studying techniques in the comments. And if you want to try naming animals or getting other people to name animals, listen for those groupings. Enjoy and good luck.